The number one question I get asked is how I'm able to afford to travel. How do I travel so much? So today I want to attempt to answer that question by explaining to you how I saved enough money to travel for 4 months. First and foremost, I created a budget and I stuck to my budget. For 2 months, I wrote down my monthly expenses. Every single thing I purchased, I saw about how much I was spending on groceries, how much I was spending on my car, and I would try to lower those payments just a little bit and create a monthly budget that I could realistically stick to. And the key here is to continue to track your monthly expenses to see where you're at. This just really helps you stay aware of where you're spending your money, how you're spending your money. If you stick to your budget, you should have enough savings left over at the end of the month to put into your travel fund. Which brings me to my next point. I did have a travel fund. I have a rainy day fund and also a travel fund that I put money into every single month. I think separating what you're saving for helps you put that money aside into just that travel fund. Another thing that I did involving these accounts that really helped me save enough money was I put my savings away immediately. There's a certain amount of money per month that as soon as I got paid, I put it into my savings account and into my travel fund. This helps me not spend it throughout the month later on. Then if I have any money left over, then I could also put that in my travel fund as well. Something that helped me financially was having a calendar of when I get paid, also when all my bills were due. That way you stay on top of it and you could see how much money you need to spend where, which could help you budget for the month. I would also set short-term goals. So let's say my goal by the end of the year is to save $3,000. It works a lot better if you break that down into quarters or even monthly. So for example, within the next 2 months, I want to have $500 in that account. Setting short-term goals just helps you because you're able to meet that goal sooner, and it keeps you on track for that bigger yearly goal. I also have a piggy bank where I keep all of my loose or spare change. I know that it's really common not to use change at all these days and not to have cash on you. I personally like to have cash for small payments. For example, that $2 cookie or that Starbucks drink. That's why I personally use a piggy bank, so I could put all of my spare change in it, and it does add up over time. So if you sometimes will still pay with cash, it is something to consider as well. Another really important aspect of trying to save is to reduce your monthly costs. I know for me that eating out is very expensive. $10 a meal every time you eat out adds up to a lot per month, especially if you're tracking it and you see it. It always blows my mind. So what I started doing to help me save for my trip was that I was only allowed to eat out once per month. Another thing that I did was I moved in with my dad while I was still teaching to try to save for my trip. I only lived with him about 3 months. Moving in with him really helped me save and also pay off my car. If you are planning a big backpacking trip, I think that moving home a few months ahead of time is a good option to help you save money because you'll most likely be giving up your apartment anyway. Or if you own a home, you might want to consider renting it out while you're away. That could help you make money while you're on the road. Or maybe Airbnb out a room to help you save up in the meantime. Another way I reduced my spending was by bringing a packed lunch. Eating out a lot really adds up. I know I've already said this, but food is such a big factor when you're trying to save money. So lowering that cost of food really is very important. So I never once ate out at lunch while at work. I always just brought my own packed lunch. To help prevent me from overpaying at the grocery store as well, I would create a grocery list and I would buy nothing else, only the items that were on that list. I personally have a sweet tooth and I just want to buy chocolate and stuff all the time, so having a list is very helpful for me. One thing that helps me personally save money is I don't drink coffee. I never go to Starbucks ever. So if you're trying to cut back on spending, I would definitely start with coffee and trying to cut back on Starbucks. Another thing that I don't buy is bottled water. I think it's bad for the environment and it really adds up, so I usually just use a water filter. When I'm shopping, I save money by not buying things immediately. Impulse buying really adds up. You see something that you really want, but then what I do is I wait and I walk around. Let's say I'm at the mall. I'll walk around for a while, then if I still want it a few hours later, then I'll go back and get it because then I think it's worth it. And most of the time, I don't go back that day. I actually will wait a day, 2, a week, maybe even a month to see if I actually really want it before I purchase it. When you're shopping, make sure you ask if it's a want or a need because this will really help you reduce your spending. Another thing that I do is I don't buy trendy or new clothes. I usually just buy clothes when I need them. Let's say I need a new down jacket because mine got a rip in it. I know that may not be the strategy for everybody, but for me, I usually just kind of like to buy clothes when I need them instead of what's popular at the moment. If you are someone who likes to shop a lot, I would try to buy clothes that aren't just trending in the moment or for the next couple months. I would try to buy clothes that you could wear for years from now. Another way to help reduce your monthly expenses is to just not pay for cable. I've personally never in my life paid for cable since I've been living on my own. I've always just used Netflix. So Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, there's so many out there and I think it's a great alternative to the standard cable because it is much more expensive. Another big category for spending is entertainment. For me personally, I try not to spend too much money on entertainment unless I'm traveling. And I will use my travel fund to fund those events. Most of the time though, in my day-to-day normal life, I don't like to pay for entertainment. I typically just like to go hiking, go to the beach, play basketball, play tennis, go running. That's pretty much what Jan and I do on a normal basis as our form of entertainment. Another way to reduce your spending is to share meals. For example, when Jan and I go out to eat, we like to split our meal because that $10 meal just became $5. Whenever you're out with a friend, you could always ask if they would like to split with you because portions come so big anyway. I think it'll help reduce your cost a lot, or you could just take home the leftovers and you could eat them for a day or maybe even 2. And lastly, I work out outside instead of paying for a gym. I've actually never ever paid for a gym. I have used a gym. There was one in my old apartments and one when I was in college. Those were free to us. It was free with our tuition and of course with the apartment. I've never actually gone out of my way to pay for a gym membership because I know they could be very pricey. They could be over $50 for a gym membership. Another thing that I did was I made extra money. I increased my income by working after school. I would tutor and sometimes during my prep period, I would actually take on another class for a different teacher. That helped me increase my budget by just a little bit. But every little bit helps while you're trying to save. So part of this is to increase your income while decreasing your spending. Now, increasing your income is not always an option. For me, it was. And if you would like to see another video, I will link a video down below on how you can make extra income at home through side hustles. There you have it. That was how I was able to save enough money to travel for 4 months. I hope that this video was insightful for you and I wish you luck in saving for your own trip. See you next time.